It's the grandson of Right Thought. Welcome to the School of Marvelous Light, Little Flock. Today I want to talk about a very deep topic. So look around real quick, Little Flock, and see if you notice any dogs or any pigs running around near us, because this is too good for them. Sheep are usually pretty good at spotting dogs. So if y'all see any, y'all let me know so I can bonk him on his head and get him on up out of here. We want to talk about the womb of transformation. Okay? If you've noticed, Little Flock, during your time living, in order for one thing to pass into a new form or a new thing, it must go into a womb. Remember what Abba said? I knew you before I formed you in your mother's womb. That means that you existed before you were even planted in your mother's womb. But in order for you to exist in this realm, you need to pass through your mother's womb. See that, Little Flock? You see? A gateway of sorts. So what is this womb of transformation in its fullest form, final form, like Cell? You know, you're fighting Cell, you think you got him figured out. And as soon as you think you got him figured out, he transforms into another form. Then when you think you got that form figured out, he turns into another form, ultimately to get to perfect Cell. See that, Little Flock? Same it goes here. Truths work that way. They're like onions that you have to unlayer, because truth is in layers. As I always say, it's truth on one level, it's true on all levels, proving that there are levels, you see? So in this particular scenario, speaking of the womb, there are layers to it, is what I mean. You may think of a woman and her womb, and that's all you think about. Well, then I would advance in this conversation a proposal. Have you looked at a caterpillar and a butterfly? He's born into the world as a caterpillar, larva, pupa, whatever you want to call it, a worm. You see that? In some form or another of a worm, he's born into the world. Now, he doesn't just turn into a butterfly. You see that there, Little Flocker? You see that there? He goes through a womb called a cocoon. Then he emerges from the cocoon a brand new creature, not even the same. Can't even be classified as the same, because he's a new creation. Why did Abba put that there in front of us? To teach us about ourselves. When you were born into this world, you were born into a worm state, larva, pupa, but you grew, you see? And you came out of that state, but before you turned into a butterfly, or as he said, you were born again, because that's what the butterfly is. When he emerges from the cocoon, he's being born again. He was already born once, he's being born again. And you notice that his diet, or the thing that causes him to grow thereby, it changes. That's why Yahusha said, man should not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. The word that comes out of the mouth of God is the sweet nectar that the butterfly eats. The bread would be the leaves that the caterpillar eats. Though man is partaking of both. Just like that same creature that is the butterfly was the caterpillar. So which one is he? See that, Little Flock? So now, this is the mystery. This is the secret. The womb is the seat of filling. Listen good, Little Flock. Filling transitions you from one state to another. Which one out of the two is the woman? Thought or feeling? Like I've always taught you guys, feeling is the woman. Who has the womb? That would be the woman. See what I mean? I knew you before I planted you in your mother's womb or formed you there. Who's saying that? That would be the Father. Where are you before you're planted in your mother's womb? You're inside of your Father. Ooh, you see that there little flock? That's why I said I didn't want no dogs around. You see why? Because it's too good for them to get. If you would like to go from one state to another state, you must go through a womb. There's no other way. There isn't any other way. You have to change your feelings. And when you change your feelings, you produce a new person. Because as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So if you've been thinking negative thoughts of yourself, then you are a negative being. See? When somebody says you're being anything, what is being? I am. So if they say you're being negative, they're saying you're taking the Lord's name in vain. They don't know that's what they're saying, but that's actually what they're saying. You're being negative. Being is I am. It's the state of I am. If there is no I am, there is no being to speak of, correct? Right then. All right then. So I am is the traveler. I am is. And I am travels from one state to another depending on the womb. You will either gendereth to bondage, which means when you feel wrong, when you feel slave-like feelings, you will produce a slave existence, a slave experience. You understand that? Hagar gendereth to bondage. Hagar is the wrong thoughts. Sinai. What was at Sinai when the Israelites got there? Fear. They ran. They were scared. You see? Wrong feeling. Fear is the wrong feeling to feel when you stand before the Father. You see that there? It should be infinite love. Because perfect love casts out fear. So Moses went on up there. You'll die if you go. God will kill you, man. You don't hear that voice? They shuddered. Even Moses was quaking and shaking. See that there? But Sarah gendereth to freedom, which means she produces free experiences. Not that the experience itself is monetarily free. That's not what I'm saying. What I mean is you'll have an experience that free people have, that slaves can have. You will if you have a free feeling. See there? That's why that's the womb. You need the woman, like I've always told you. You see how Abba's been over the last few days? I always say this to you guys. How he brings us through and up and around and understand a topic before we move on to the next one. He wants us to understand the male and female principles of how you are, how you become. Because haya means to become, to fall out, to make, to come to pass. So when you speak, you make things come to pass. Well, you only speak out of the abundance of your heart, which is the abundance of what you think feelingly. That's what it really means. The abundance of what you feelingly think is what you'll experience. You see that there? So I knew you before I put you in your mother's womb. Yes, you knew your idea before you planted it into the world. Okay. Let me break it down a little bit more for the little flockerations. The little flocculations. Let me break it down a little bit more for you. When you had an idea to do something, you imagined it in your mind first. That's what Abba did when he made you. That's what he wants you to know. I imagined you first. And then I started to form you. In that what you do when you make a table or a chair? Isn't Yahusha a carpenter? Do you understand why that was his profession? Do you get it? A builder, he wants you to build, but he wants you to build on the cornerstone. Build everything you build on truth. It'll never fall if you do that. If you build it on lies, it'll fall. If you build it on sand, it will fall and shift. See that there, little flock? You see that there? Some people are okay when their house shifts and it doesn't fall. Fuck that. I don't want my house shifting. I don't want to leave and go out to go eat and then come back home and my house is crooked. It didn't fall all the way down. It's just leaning to the side like pizza. That ain't good either. You're walking down the hallway with your arm on the wall like this so you can stay upright because the house is leaning. That ain't good neither. So to prevent all of that, when I put my first stone there, I put it right on top of the cornerstone. It'll never shift. It doesn't change. That's what it means. Shift means something changed in your foundation. Uh-oh. We found some lack there, and we will find it, and the house will lean or topple. See that there, little flock? So we prevent that by founding everything on the rock of truth. And the rock of truth says a womb is everywhere. It's not just in a woman, it's in every feminine principle. So it's on levels. It's on levels. And the womb is the filling. You need to have that in order to form and bring forth a child. That's what Abba said. I knew you, then I formed you in. So I didn't just form you anywhere. I formed you in a womb. I formed you inside of a womb. So it is with you, little flock. This is where it gets good for you. This part of the message, see? When you were born into a world. And the unique thing about that is you didn't know who you were. You knew that you were, but you didn't know what and who you were. You just knew that you were. And all through your whole existence, you're trying to find out who I am. Who am I? And a lot of people think because they're good at something, that's what they are. No, you're just good at it. You're just good at it. You are what you love to do. And what you love to do, you lose yourself in it. You lose yourself in it. So then the work becomes not work. That's when you're doing what you are. You're in flow. It's just flowing, so you're not laboring when it flows. You don't have to labor to bring the water to you when the water is just flowing to you. You see what I'm saying? You don't have to force anything. So we see that in order for us to pass from one state to another, we must fecundate the waters. Fecundate means to fertilize. Understand that? So how do you fertilize your waters? How does a man fertilize a woman's womb? See how it goes? It's true on every level. It's just that the level everybody knows these things that I'm saying, they think that's all the level that there is. No, that's to show you the higher level, to take you up higher. You see? So then when a man wants a child, he fecundates the woman's waters, causes them to stir. Do you understand about the waters of the healing waters? When the man was there, he was like, I have nobody to take me and put me down in the water, because the angel would come down and stir the waters to take somebody from a state of unhealthy to healthy. I don't know if you guys can't hear this. Do you see how it's always there? I told you, the waters represent the feminine principles, represents the emotions. You see? So they're dormant. Emotions are as well. They're dormant until they see something that fecundates them. Isn't it true, little flock? Let's say you woke up and you're having a good day. Let's say you're having a good day. So how do you feel? You feel good. Everything's going perfectly fine. You get up, you're going about, everything's going smoothly. But then as you're driving to work or whatever, you hit a pothole and you bust your tire and bust the rim. Damn! Do your feelings change? So your state changed. Didn't it? Your feelings can't change without your state changing. Because your feelings are the womb that passes you through the state you were in into another one. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. See, this makes you do homework every day. After you hear messages like this from the School of Marvelous Light, when you go forward, you're watchful as hell about the truth now. You don't care about the stuff that's going on outside of you anymore. Not if you listen to this. The only thing you care about is passing from one state to another, because we want to feel good over here. We want to be happy, healthy, have all good things. And so since that's the case, Abba gave us the way to get there. You think your slavery or freedom is not contingent upon what you have done. Okay, did you read Deuteronomy 28, Israel? Okay, so then you would know that if you did what Abba told you to do, you'll be a free man. If you don't do what Abba tells you to do, you'll be a slave. So then if he says that, then that means that something inside of you had to change in order for you to pass into a state of a slave. Your thoughts changed first. Woe is me. I'm doomed. Oh my God, we're all gonna die. That came first before you actually went into death or went into slavery. You see that there? He told you he would curse your thoughts. That's what he said, because you don't listen to him. If you don't dwell lovingly, I'm gonna take the good away from you, period. Because slaves dwell hatefully. Free men dwell lovingly. I have all good things that I could ever imagine. So does my neighbor. So now when I walk outside and walk past my neighbor's house, I don't covet. I don't know if you guys can't hear this. Is that one of the commandments? Thou shalt not covet. But a slave who labors for everything that he gets, and he has to get shit on credit, and he works and works and works, and that makes him bitter and mad and stressed out. He looks at his neighbor's house who has everything that he ever needs while he don't have the things that he wants, and he covets, and he hates his brother in his heart. Well, if you hate your brother in your heart, what's the scripture say about that? You're a murderer. I told you it's true on every level. Y'all think just because somebody didn't kill anybody, they're not a murderer. Then y'all don't know anything. You don't know how your feelings feel when someone hates you then. You're not in tune with yourself then. You don't know how your heart is broken then. Because only the brokenhearted understand what I'm talking about. Because they were the ones that Abba said he accepts. He won't accept you unless your heart has been broken by the world you were birthed into. How do I know that? Because he says, any man that does not hate his life in this world is not worthy of me. Did you hear that nice and good, little flockerer? Little flocker? Did you hear it nice and good or what? You got to hate your life in this world so that you can be birthed into another one. If you don't hate this world, you want to stay in it. You don't want it to end. No! You'll be like those merchants in the book of Revelation screaming, saying, oh my God, all my goods and my money, it's being destroyed. That state is about to come upon you. While I'm saying, I'm rich, I'm blessed, I'm so wealthy, I have so many blessings, I can barely contain them. And the stupid idiots, they're going around saying, I don't see any blessings in that man's life. I don't see them. But I serve Jesus Christ. Then you go right to the Bible and show that nigga he don't serve nobody that he think he serve. Because you show him right there where it says, don't walk by sight, but in another way you can walk. I would tell you what it is, but I forgot. There may be some dogs coming. You understand what I'm saying, little flock here? You want me to physically show you something. I have had this conversation with people. That's why I said, can't nobody lie to me. The carnal mind, I have already dealt with the carnal mind. The carnal mind is not one person. So you think when you deal with one carnally minded person, you're dealing with them. And then you deal with another carnally minded person, you deal with them. He just said in his word that we don't fight against flesh and blood. So I don't fight against persons. It's the carnal mind that has enmity with me because I'm the spiritual mind. I speak about spiritual things. So how do you think the carnal mind feels about what I say? It hates it. See? You see there? So it doesn't understand how you can go from one state to another simply by how you feel. Well, then why would Yahushua say the kingdom of heaven is within you? I'm going to ask you guys a question. Is the kingdom of heaven where power is? Would you say so? Or would you say the kingdom of heaven is not where power is? What would you say? You guys all know what you're going to say. Now, that place of power I've described to you, the kingdom of heaven, where is it? Now, just because somebody tells you that doesn't mean that they know it. They may know the words, like I've told you. But how do I prove that I know it? Because I tell you how to activate and use it. That's like a pistol sitting on a table, and a guy says he's a gun expert, but when you tell him to pick it up and shoot it, he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. He doesn't know how to take the clip out. He don't even know how to unload the chamber. He doesn't know what he's doing at all. He doesn't know even what the safety is, if it's on or off. He doesn't know. He just lied. But then there's another guy there that's an expert. He's a World War II veteran. So he's like 98 years old, and he's sitting there in a chair. But he can tell you everything there is to know about that weapon and how to use it. He may not look like it because you didn't know what he had been through or what he had experienced. That's why I say the better teacher is the one who's experienced it, not the one who has looked and heard shit. That don't mean a damn thing. It's the nigga that went through it that I want to talk to because he knows for real. You just think you know because you read a book. See? And that's the way it is with a lot of so-called Christians. They read the words and then they go around spouting the words out with no meaning to it. They actually don't know. And the thing that they teach has no depth to it. It has no substance to it. You see? That's because they're not familiar with the weapon. They don't know how the weapon works. I do, because I use it all the time. So what happens when you use a blade all the time? What happens when you don't use it? Abba said it gets dull. It gets dull. It's just sitting there. It's just rusting. There's nothing to it. Can't use it. But iron sharpens iron. So cling, cling, clang, clang, clang makes the iron sharper. See what I mean about everything is on a layer? I just use that as an example. Two sword fighters are fighting. They're friends though. They're best friends. So they fight and it looks to the eye as if they're trying to kill each other, but they're just really making each other adept. Because iron sharpens iron. Skill sharpens skill. And the better one is, the better he can make his friend. So they push each other to the limit. So sometimes it looks harsh, sometimes it looks dangerous. But they're pushing each other. And sometimes they wound each other when they're training. You didn't read the scriptures about a faithful friend? The words that he speaks to you, which is the iron. See, because that's the iron that's being spoken of there. The word. Test your word against another who says he's got the word. See that there, little flocker? And then you'll see who knows what they know. You see? And so it is with this. If a man says, oh, okay, yeah, I'm going to tell you something that's a mystery that you didn't know before. And then after he's done talking, it's not something that pricks you every time you go forth in life. But these words that I'm speaking to you, they prick you when you go forth. You can't help but think about it. If you heard the message, wait a minute. How I feel determines the next state I'm going to experience. What is the next state I want to experience? You know what it is. Stop lying to yourself. You don't want to be sitting up there in the best possible state you could be in. Well, Abbas knows that about you. That's why he said, you haven't even heard the things I have planned for you. Why does he mention something like a mansion? Why does he mention the things you want? Pressed down, overflowing, that's what you want. Well, how would you feel if you had all of that? And then think if you feel that way consistently, you'll realize you don't. You realize you feel like a slave more consistently. And that's why you stay in that state. When Christ said, I came to set the captives free, captive means slave. It means someone who was taken captive, man. And you're telling me that this isn't about salvation. It isn't about taking from one state, which is slavery, to another. I'm actually telling you how to do it because you have to do it. You gotta. Imagine a plantation, some slaves on there, and a guy that looks like a slave, but he's not on the inside. He walks up to the slaves and says, take the chain off, man, and walk away. Take it off and walk away. That person, that slave, will find every reason of fear not to. See, that's all I'm saying. But perfect love casts out fear. He goes, look at me. And then when they come to try to do anything to him, fire proceeds out of his mouth and burn up his enemies. The truth is my buckler and my shield and my protector. I don't need anything else. I got what I need when I stand on the truth. I can't fall. You see that there? And the truth is, in order to be birthed into a new state of being, you must pass through a womb. And I have told you what the womb is. It's feelings. How could I know that if I didn't experience it? That's why I'm telling you. What's better than for the slave to hear that? Wait a minute, I'm scared to break free because the slave master's gonna come kill me. You're like, no, he's not. He has no power over you. That's just an illusion, man. Get up and walk away. Matter of fact, come walk with me. And then he starts walking with you, but then he hears the slave master go, hey, nigga, what are you doing out there? Get back to work. Just ignore that nigga. Just ignore him. But he's gonna kill me. See? You're afraid. And the last enemy to be destroyed when you're leaving that plantation is death. Once you know you won't die, then you'll leave the plantation. That's the last enemy that keeps the chain on your wrist, in other words. Oh, God. What am I saying? You have to pass through death to go into a womb and be birthed into a new state. But you're scared to die, so you will never pass into a new state because you can't go into the womb until you die. A seed does not grow unless it first be buried and die first. Oh my goodness gracious. See how the truth go? Legos, logos, Legos, logos, Legos, logos. See how it's going? See how it's going? You have to die. Now, that brings fear, like I told you how the slave is. He's going to kill me if he catches me. See? See? But you must die in order to pass over into a new state. So what does that technically mean? It means you must die to the old feelings that you once had. You have to die to those feelings or you won't enter the new womb to enter the new state, which is the desire you want. And you're not jumping into it because of what you see your slave master is going to get you, because of the circumstance you're in. I don't have any money. I have no weapons. What am I going to do? I have nothing. I'm a slave. You have everything you need. It is within you. That's what the freedom man that came said. So what you think I'm going to say? It's inside of you. How do I know? Because I've utilized it. And now that I've utilized it, their fear went away. So now I tell it with boldness added to my words, don't I? In other words, I tell it as if there's nothing else to tell. Because that's what happens when you got the best husband. There ain't no another nigga. There ain't none. I got the best one. So you can think whatever you want to think. And it's not that I just think I have the best one. I know I do. I know I do. Shit. From experience, see? He told me this, what I'm telling you. I just put it to the test to see if it would work. That's what he told me to do. Test and see if I won't take you into another state from the state you're currently in. Test and see. All right, well, let me see. They said that I'm in jail. I keep saying this because this is my testimony. They said I'm in jail. They say I'm going to be at least 90 days. I don't have any money on my books. I did not make one phone call. I did not make any special request or any request at all during my stay there. I didn't look outside of myself for help, niggas. Can y'all hear that today? Shit gonna make you a bold lion, let your nuts hang. I didn't look to nobody for help. That made me feel like the shit. It made me feel helpless all those years I walked around looking for somebody outside of myself to save me. It made me feel incapable when I was subject to ordinances and things of the world that felt like I had to get permission, or I had to get this title, or I have to get that name, or I have to get that piece of paper, then I can do it. The power is within you. So then I went in there. I know you said that, but if that were true, how come I'm telling this story right now? How come I'm not saying what they said was true? These are police officers, lawyers, and judges, supposedly good members of society who are saying these words to me, and their words were vain because none of them came to pass. But the words that I spoke secretly, I didn't have to tell them nothing. That's true power, nigga. I don't have to boast. I don't have to stand there and say, yes, you all think you're going to hold me down 90 days. You're not. I said that on the inside. That's what happens when you know it worked. I didn't hesitate. I didn't even think twice about what I was going to do. I knew when they were taking me in, I was still in the back of the cop car saying, I'm free. I don't have to think about what to do. I don't have to start planning. I don't have to start calling my mom. I don't have to start calling my friends and bothering them and burdening them with issues they have nothing to do with. Why? The issues came out of my own heart. So if I got into this state because of my own heart, then I can get out of it because of my own heart. Now watch me. I'm free. Sir? Yeah, you're free to go. That's what I thought. Suckers? Now eat my dust. Shit. I'm out of here. Just like I said, I never stopped. I persisted in the feeling. I persisted in it because that's my wife, bitch. You can't tell her shit. You telling her 90 days like she gonna listen to you. She don't listen to you. She a virtuous woman for her husband, and I'm her husband. So what the hell you got to say? You said you need to be talking to me so I can bonk you on your head with this stick I got in my hand. You think you got a nice stick. I got a stick that make your ass go night-night, nigga. But if you could understand spiritual things, you could understand what I'm saying to you. A conquering lion. When lions fight and the one lion kills the other one, what does he do afterwards? He meows or purrs or lays down and go to sleep, or does he stomp around kicking dirt, roaring? That just happens to be the tribe I'm from. I can't make that be that way. That's just what it is. Abba said, Judah, you are a lion's whelp, crouching down. Who shall rouse you up? The liar will. I hate lies. That's the tribe I'm from. I praise Yah. That's the tribe I'm from. See what happens when you know who you are? Nobody can lie and tell you that you're not. They did it for a long time, but it will no longer work. I'm sorry. You guys better get cleave to true Israel, because that's where the truth is. If there wasn't a true Israel, then how come the Bible says a Jew is not one outwardly, but a Jew is one inwardly? So then there is a true Jew, isn't there? So then there is a true oracle of God, isn't there? All right then. But he's the one of the heart. So did you search him out? Oh no, you searched like men. I forgot. So you don't know who's valuable to your group of soldiers. That one that says I'm free is the valuable one. Not the one that shakes his knees together and says, brothers, we're caught. It's doomed. We're over. You can't take my faith, hope, and love, my nigga. These three shall remain in this house. So you can say whatever you want to say. That's what I'm saying to the world. I don't give a fuck what they say. And that's how I feel about it too. That's why I come out sounding like that. You will only hear me speak harsh, disgusting, nasty, what you call words about things that are harsh, things that are disgusting, things that are nasty. It happens when you have a renewed mind. You do things new, because I'm not the same creature. Y'all used to seeing an old black man. That's what you used to seeing. But I'm the new creation that Yahusha made out of the children of Israel. I'm the new man. I'm the one that Abba knew when he planted here in this earth. He knew what he formed before he even formed me into this earth. So as I grew and I didn't know, I grew into knowing. And now that I do know, I walk in it with strength and power, just like he told me to do, because he gave us the spirit of what? Now, that what I just described I did in jail, would you describe that as the spirit? See, the inner workings, the spirit of power and might, that attitude that I was describing to you that seems so nasty to Christians, that seems so boastful and arrogant to people. That's actually the spirit of power. What did David do when Goliath talked shit? Y'all are telling me Goliath was talking his shit and David didn't talk none back. David was a shit talker to Goliath, wasn't he? If you read it, you know. And what disgusted him was what he was saying about Abba. Just like I told you guys. So the branch that is written, he shall grow up unto David. Do you hear that today? So then he gonna act like David act, because he's from the same tribe. He's from the same bloodline. From the said a rod from the stem of Jesse. Who's David's daddy? The rod mean the third part from David. I mean from Jesse. Who's the third part from Jesse? Solomon. What is written about the branch? He shall build the temple. Who built the temple back in them days? Solomon did, the grandson of Jesse. It's always about the grandson. I don't know how many times I got to say that, tell you guys, sing it from the rooftops or whatever the case may be. That's the guy. It's the grandson is the guy. The grandson is the guy. He got the info. He got the info that you need to get free. Now, if you ain't a slave, then keep it moving then. Because the Son of Man didn't come to save no righteous, but he came to save that which was lost and call the sinner to repentance. See, the sinner is the one who thinks wrong about his existence, so he's in a bad state. If you're in a good state, then go ahead and get your consolation. Isn't that what the scripture says about the rich? You have your consolation. See? But blessed are the poor, for you shall be filled. And you're getting filled right now if you're paying attention. Wait a minute. If I want to experience joy, I must create a womb of joy, an environment of it inside of myself. Then once that environment inside of myself manifests, the outward has to follow. Now, what grandson is saying right now is foolproof. It is true. That is what it is. That is what life is. See, you can search all over the world, but you won't find what I'm telling you today from those people of the world. You can search and search and search, and they'll say something else is the cause. Something else is the reason for your state. Hard work. Isn't that what the world says? You want to have this experience, then hard work. Okay, that's what you say. How did I get free? How many lawyers did I have to call to get free? Well, you're talking about your hard damn work. That's what Cain was talking about. That's why he was jealous of Abel. That's why people that live around you are jealous when you're laying there relaxing, because they got to get up and go take their ass to work, and they're mad about it. It's just the truth. And they're mad at you saying, well, why don't you do something? I do. I do it inside. When I want to change my state, I go inside and change it. You go outside and change it. So one seeks it by works and one seeks it by faith. Which one do you think is seeking it by faith? Because none of you can deny that Abba wants us to seek the thing by faith. Y'all can't deny that. So if you didn't know how to seek it by faith, but yet you're coming here to the School of Marvelous Light and you're learning how to, then what does that mean? It means you wasn't learning it in the world. How could you learn it in the world when you have to die and be birthed into a new world in order to hear it? Like the man said, Philip. When he was talking to Philip, the eunuch said, how can I understand unless a man guide me? The man that guides you has to know the path. See? Or he cannot guide you. He can't point to the street and say, the street's over there, when he's never been on that street. He doesn't know. He never experienced it. But the man who knows the street like the back of his hand because he experienced it can tell you, he can guide you through it. Which is what I'm doing here at the School of Marvelous Light. You had an outward idea of what the guide should look like and sound like. That's the old world. You got to throw that away. You have to look at his heart. That's what you have to look at. You have to look at, what does he put before you, little flock? When you look at him, what's important to him over you? Because serving you is his occupation. That is his work. So if he's working, serving you, then should he be serving himself? So it shouldn't look like he is. It should look like he labors on your behalf. It should look like he's given his life up and hated his life in this world and dedicate himself to speaking of the new world. It should be clear. And it is here. It is here. Because if you were to test what I'm telling you today, you'd find it to be true. And stop wasting your time with anything else. You know that's when you found the truth. How do you know when you found it? Because you sell everything else that you have to obtain it. I found my wife. Wow. My helper. The one who helps me enter into a joyful comfort state. Your wife. I found her. All this time I was looking outside of myself for her. And all along she was inside of me. Do you see that, little flock? That's where the kingdom needs its king, inside, to rule the inner world, to take it from one land to another, conquering. In other words, take it from one state to another, conquering them, ultimately conquering over death in the end. Knowing that death is the passage into the new state. People hear that, they think physical death, and that's what brings the fear. But it's not a physical death. It is a mental death. You are no longer taking those old thoughts you used to take. That means you died. You are now putting new thoughts in, free thoughts. And you patiently wait for them to manifest, knowing that they will. Just like when I got out on the 37th day, when they told me at least 90, one of us told the truth and one of us lied. Which one told the truth? I did. And then he confirmed it. Hey, you're free to go. I needed you to tell me that, or did you hear me saying that every day, sir? Well, actually, you have been saying that every day. I mean, you have. And let's just keep it real. I really think they let me out of there because I was preaching. I was telling everybody that I could about this. Hey, brothers, you know why I'm here? Look at my attitude. You know why I came here today? I came here to set you guys free. That was what I was saying, and that was my attitude while I was in there. So that's what I did. That's what I did. I set the captives free. Hey, brother, what you worried about? Oh, I'm going through this, man. They're talking about my trial, this. They're talking about this, that, and the other. Scrap all of that. What would you like to do? Man, I wish I was at home right now with my woman and my kids, man. What's your living room look like? Well, shit, man, it look like this. I got this color and on the walls. I got a TV hanging up there and blah, blah, blah. Can you visualize it right now? What movie would you be watching with your kids if you were at home? What am I doing? I'm leading him. I'm guiding him to the right thoughts because that's who I am. I lead people out of wrong thought to right thought. That's what I do every day. Now, if you like being in wrong thought, then that means you love the world. But what does the Bible say about the world? Whose world is the first world that you were born into? Esau's, right? Is Esau right thought or wrong thought? So then his world is built on wrong thought. Will it stay forever or will it topple and fall? Esau is the end of the world. Jacob is it that followeth it. So when the things that I speak of, what world do you think I am of? What world do you think I'm of? It's obvious, isn't it? It's obvious, little flock. So today, if I were you, I'd spend my energy on creating a womb. Like a cocoon. Because watch this, little flock. Watch this before we end this message, how beautiful Alba is. Watch these words he just put in my mouth. Watch. Who makes the cocoon for the caterpillar? You see why I'm saying that? Who builds the cocoon? The caterpillar does it for himself. And then he enters into it. So then what does that mean for you? If it's true on one level, it's true on all. What does that mean for you, little flock? It means you must build the womb. You have to build the state of feelings so that you can enter it. See, enter the cocoon and stand there until you grow into your fullness and be transformed through those feelings. It takes a time. Baby takes a time in the womb. Caterpillar take time in the cocoon. So every time someone goes into a womb, it takes some time. So then you need to be patient. That's all it means. That's why days ago I had a message speaking to that exact thing. That's your support beam. Ain't it easy? It is. That's why I said it's so beautiful what he put there in my jib. This is. So, build your cocoon, little flock. Build your ark, Noah. Can y'all hear this right now? Can you hear it? Okay, thank you, Abba. I'll give him that too. Abba says, Noah died to the world. And then he was planted inside of the cocoon that he built, which was the ark. And when he emerged out of it, he was not the same man that he was when he went inside. Oh my goodness. He became heir of righteousness, the Bible says. It says he became heir of righteousness. So just as in the days of Noah, so shall be in the Son of Man, grandson of righteousness. Oh my goodness gracious, I don't understand how they can't hear the beauty of it all. But I know there's a few who do. And I appreciate you who do. And I appreciate y'all who support the School of Marvelous Light. Because as you can see, it's beautiful in the light. So you must like to be in beautiful environments. You must be ready to enter into your new state. Gotta be. Or else you wouldn't be hearing no words out of my mouth. You wouldn't be here at all. So it's time for you to become. And in order to become, you gotta go in your cocoon. Your cocoon is a state of feelings, which is the womb. The feelings that match the desire that you want. Enter into them. And then you gotta stay in it. If you crack the cocoon open too early, what happens? You don't get no butterfly. It's gotta stay in there until it's done. If you cut a woman's belly open before the time, you don't get no baby. So you have to let it stand there until it's time. And boy, it'll emerge, just like that butterfly does, just like that baby did. So will yours. This is what I mean about it will happen. Does Abba bring to the birth and does not cause to come forth? Oh, God. Okay. Let me just end the message here, y'all. But does Abba cause that to happen? Does he cause you to come to the birth and he won't bring forth? That means, does he cause you to plant your seed, get in your cocoon, stand there, and then he won't bring the fruition of what you want? Yeah, he will. Yeah, he will. So sleep inside the cocoon so you can enter a new state, like Yahusha was asleep in the boat. And then he entered them into a new state of out of panic and fear into calm and rest, like a free man would be out of a slave state of fear. Okay, I'm really done now for real, guys. Shalom, Israel.